Hey everybody, Michael Pavlovich here, and you can see I rearranged my space, so sorry for that up front. And I'm not going to be on camera very much throughout this video, I hope. We'll jump right into it. But I just wanted to point out that Huion sent me a Kamvas Pro 16 2.5K. It's been my travel companion for about the past month, and I gotta say it's been pretty great. Normally what I would do is I'd have my laptop and then I'd put in my drawing tablet, which normally would take up about the same amount of space as this thing. However, this is its own screen, so having all that real estate, my laptop, having an extra screen, just needed to take a couple cords with me. It's actually kind of been really useful. Even if I'm not even using the drawing capability, this is going with me everywhere that I need to travel to. So just like all my other videos, what we'll do is we'll do an unboxing, do a quick basic setup, and then we'll cover ZBrush, Substance Painter, Photoshop, Clip Studio, anything else I think of, the normal things that I would use, you know, a pressure-sensitive tablet for. But yeah, that's about it. And it's been, like I said, it's going to be my travel companion from here on out. I'll let you decide if it's going to be worthwhile to you to put as part of your arsenal, but we'll jump right into it. All right, let's go ahead and pop the top off of our canvas. As you see here, we've got QLED, 145% sRGB, 2.5K resolution, Pentec 3.0, and USB-C. Pop this out. As you can see here for the size, here's, 6'3" male hands. Here's the buttons down the side. And of course, turning it to the left, fairly thin. And here's the button on the top. Basically, this whole side lifts up, and then this, you can flip this little bottom piece out, put the canvas right here, and it all just folds right back. Piece here. Got our little pin nibs and our pin nib remover. Instruction manual. Quick interjection here, the Pentec 3.0 with the tilt support, 8192 levels, resolution, works great. The pen is pretty awesome. As far as the wires go, you're going to have two options. You're going to have the two port USB-C to a USB, HDMI, and power, or a USB-C and a USB-C to power. However, I have seen some laptops output power enough to where you just need one USB-C cable. In my case, you'll see in a bit, I have to use both cables. So on the main page here, we're going to go to support, drivers and manual. We got the Kamvas Pro 16, 2.5K. We're running Windows, and we'll go ahead and get the driver. There we go, we got Windows. Let's grab the latest one. Let's hit download. And before we install that, let's see how we're supposed to install it. So we'll go grab the manual, hit submit. There we go, here's the user manual. We'll go ahead and view. Go over to accessories, and again, there's a power button at the top, and then the USB-C video and USB-C power here. All the accessories that come with it, and then the stand installation. There's two ways to connect. You can use the 3-in-2 cable that's going to go to USB, HDMI, and then your USB-C power, or you can do USB-C to USB-C and then USB-C to power. I'm going to do this one. I'm going to attempt this one first. Close all your graphic software and antivirus programs. Run Windows 10. I'm going to go ahead and click this, EXE. Alright, so I'm going to take you through a typical scenario, and this is me either going to do a demo or going, working from home, and then I want to go set up shop at the office. Ignore my battle-worn GDC SIGGRAPH case. This has been through some trips. But essentially all I'm going to need is, number one, my laptop, and we'll set this all up in just a second. Number two, I'm going to need my canvas, which again fits right in my laptop case, just where I would normally put my drawing tablet. And then in here we have the super lightweight stand that we'll go ahead and set up as well. And we got the pin, we got the donut here, and then we got two wires. Now, it might just be my laptop, but I need the USB-C in order to get the monitor to work. If you just want to use this as an extra monitor, this is the only cable you'll need. If you want to use the monitor and the pin, tablet part, you need the power cable, which you can just plug into a USB here. Now, they do supply this one, which goes to USB-C that plugs into the side here. and then this one goes to a USB, a power USB, and then an HDMI. These I don't bother bringing, but if that's easier for your setup, obviously go ahead and do that. So let's do a quick setup here. So again, with this case, all you got to do is flip this up, and we'll push this back. You can do the small one if you want to just push the small one back here. You can have a little bit lower and then even lower. So there's varying degrees of how low or high this sits. And then if you want to use this back one here, again, I'm just going to set it to the back here and then flip this little bottom piece out. And that's where our tablet is going to sit. Put this on here. And again, for the cables themselves, the top one is the USB-C data, and then the bottom one is the USB-C power. One more time, if I just wanted to use this as an extra monitor, that's the only cable I would need. And again, it might depend on your laptop, but I have to use both of those cables. Let me just go ahead and, so I'm going to plug this in. Again, the data, I'm going to plug into the USB-C in the back on my laptop. And then for the power, I'm going to plug it over here, or the power to the pencil part of it, I'm going to plug into the USB on the side here. Go ahead and turn this on. There we go. And we're all the way up and running. So if I want to go over here and open up Photoshop, for example, again, I've got my main display over here. And I got my drawing site over here. So just really quickly, we'll go in here to File, New, Create. Got our brush selected. We can go through here. Again, thick to thin. I have this button set to my tablet setting. So if I want to go in here to my digital pen, do a little bit more sketching, go ahead and close this out. And I'm kind of at a weird angle standing up here, but you can see, there we go. We get very nice pins and thick to thins. I'm gonna go through and we'll do an up close demo over the shoulder stuff, but that's just the basic setup. You know, again, taking this for a demo, taking this to work and setting up shop, 2 monitors, drawing tablet, and I'm good to go with just these 2 wires here. So I'm going to be doing screen recording as well as recording over my shoulder, just in case something on here isn't very easy to see. The first thing I'm going to show off though is if I hold down the power button for 3 seconds, that's going to be something I can't screen record. This is going to be on the tablet itself. So here's your brightness, contrast, and saturation settings. Of course, I'm set to user, so I can change these as needed. However, if you go in here, for example, gaming, you can just choose the saturation. You go over here to whatever this is, PC saturation, movie. Will allow you to do saturation but nothing else. If you want control to all 3, put it on user. You know what, we'll go ahead and, yeah, let's keep it on user. Also in here is you have color temperature and again RGB. You have native sRGB and Adobe RGB that you can choose between. And then in here in settings, this is saying we have Type C and we're using the full monitor. If you wanted to go, you know, the full tablet, I should say. If you wanted to do a 4:3 or 16:9, you could choose those options. We'll go ahead and close out of that. And if I right click in here, if you remember, well, I guess you wouldn't remember this. I have my button set up to right click and then I can go in here to display settings. This is the display, if I do in here to identify, a little 2 will come in here in the corner. So this is the second monitor. If my laptop was on the other side, I could just drag these around to reposition them. And again, this is my laptop resolution. This is my canvas resolution. And if I scroll down here a little bit, you'll see it's set to 2560 by 1440, which is the maxed out display, which we're going to go ahead and keep it at. And you won't be able to see it, but down here, so here's my keys on the left-hand side. The very bottom one, I have set to launch my Huion program. So what I mean by that is, so here's my pin display options. So if I go to this bottom button here, I had set this to run program. I can just tell it. All you got to do is browse to whatever program you want to launch. In this case, it's this Huion Tablet EXE that launches this interface. So again, you can set this to run program, or you can set any of these buttons to a keyboard key, a mouse key, switching between screen and brush, running any program you want, multimedia system applications, all sorts of stuff over here on the left-hand side. You can assign to any of these keys. Also on here, you're going to see enable press keys is turned on. If you want to disable them all at the same time, just go ahead and close that, check that on. However, you can go in here and set any one of these to none, and that'll disable it on a per button basis. We've talked about the display. If I go in here to working area, that'll show you, here's my laptop over here, and then here's my canvas over here, and this is the pin area over here, takes up this entire area of my canvas. So when I go to the very corner, my mouse goes right along with it. I have full access to the entire thing. If you want to change that, you can, as well as if you wanted to use this as a tablet. So for example, if you're doing just kind of sketchy work and you don't want your hand in the way, you could set this to just affect your laptop screen and not your canvas screen. And then you can just, again, you basically using this as a tablet. But generally speaking, you're probably going to want to be set to your canvas. In here, speaking of back on here on the press key buttons, if you go in here to all programs, right now every program will inherit whatever you assign these buttons to. You can go in here to say ZBrush, choose the ZBrush dropdown, and now these buttons will correspond to commonly used ZBrush buttons you might have. So we'll go ahead and set this back to all programs. We'll go in here to digital pin, and you see I have it set to hard. Usually when I'm sketching, and we'll get to this in just a second, when I'm sketching in Photoshop or Clip Studio, I'll set it to hard just to have a more of a sketchy line. I can go over here and just barely press down, and it'll barely pick it up. You can see, you can go here to thick and thin, and also on the side here, it goes 0 to 8,191 levels here. So pretty fantastic. Of course, with these adjustments in the middle, it goes from soft to hard. It'll default to normal here, so when in ZBrush, I'll set this to normal. If I'm in Photoshop, again, I'll set that to hard. You can also go in here and choose these two dots right here to go through and adjust the curve to your liking, or you can just use these presets that are in the middle there. Oh, back there, back here in the pin display, I did want to show you one more thing. Underneath a working area, there is a monitor calibration down here. And also you can rotate it, 0, 90, 180, 270 degrees, depending on how you have your canvas oriented. However, if you go in here to monitor calibration, it'll tell you just basically press the red dot from where you're sitting, and that'll go ahead and calibrate it for you. So again, just go through here, press the dot, so that while you're using the pin from your vantage point, if it feels a little bit off, you can recalibrate, and then should be set up good to go. And again, back here in digital pin, we are playing with pressure sensitivity adjustment. However, it'll probably start out in this press key area. If I hover over this one, you'll see it's valid. And then over here, I have this set to mouse key, middle mouse button, and then down here I have this set to right mouse button. It's just what I like to use while I'm in ZBrush, and that just makes the most sense to me. Store, you can go to the store and buy more stuff. You can go up here to settings. So device, backup, general, and about. If you go here to device and do display settings, it'll pop up a menu like this. You can change whatever this display. I guess there's not much to change there. Brightness, contrast, RGB, etc. Not much else left to do there, so we're going to close that out. And just in case I didn't notice or didn't say anything, while we're in here under press key, we do have enable press keys, but then also while we're under digital pin, pressure sensitivity adjustment, we have enabled Windows ink. Actually, it doesn't matter which one you have pressed. Oh, yeah, pressure sensitivity adjustment, and then press key, you have our key set, and then enable Windows ink is checked on. So we can just go ahead and run through a few programs. We'll start with Photoshop here. Go up here to File, New, say Create, and let's go ahead and crop this down just a bit. Hit B for brush, and I'll go ahead and choose black brush here so you can kind of see what's going on. And I'm going to right click in here, and we're going to grab a hard round brush, and you can see we have just a normal brush here, and we have always use pressure for size turned on, as well as the pressure for opacity turned on, and we'll switch between these. So let's go ahead and start a new layer here. So again, while I'm doing a lot of sketchy stuff and I want to have a very, very light stroke, what I'll do is I'll hit that bottom button. So I'll go ahead and press the bottom button here. That'll pop up this Huion settings. I'm going to go in here to the digital pin. We're going to say pressure sensitivity adjustment, and again I'm going to set this from normal to hard, so while I'm in Photoshop I can go through here and I can be very sketchy. So we'll go through here, we'll go ahead and make a real quick face. So we'll go ahead and put an eyeball in here, and again I can hold down Alt and then left click and change my hardness and brush size here. There we go. So I'll go ahead and make my brush size a little bit smaller here. And yeah, so everything feels really, really good. Like I said, it had 8192 levels of sensitivity here, and let's go ahead and put in the ear and then some hair. If I'm going thick to thin, or sorry, thin to thick, and seeing if I can do a straight line, I do have smoothing set to 15. Let's go ahead and turn that down to 0. So again, thin to thick feels really nice. You know, after doing our calibration, this isn't really my inability to draw and connect lines is more mine than the tablet here, but you can see very, very, I mean, it feels, it took me a little bit of getting used to retraining myself to draw on a screen. For most people, when you're new to the tablet experience, it is more natural for you just to kind of draw on the screen as opposed to learning how to draw on a monitor, but now I have to kind of get used to my hand kind of being in the way a little bit, which again, I could, if I want to do sketchy stuff without my hand in the way, I can still do that. I just got to set it to be on the other monitor, the working area. But if I'm going to be doing like precision inking and line drawing and stuff, so let's go ahead and turn this opacity off. We'll drop this opacity here, and I don't know what exactly I was drawing here, but we'll go ahead and ink it in. I'm going to do, let's go make this, I don't know why I'm working so small. We'll bump this up to like 2200 here, hit OK. There we go. Hit B for brush, and now we're getting you know, a very inky brush. Of course, if you want to choose an ink brush, feel free to go and download. We'll maybe try some of these brushes out in a second. But again, just using a plain old brush, opacity and flow all the way up, and then just size set. So we can go through here and again just kind of do a little bit of inking. I'm gonna go ahead and make my brush size quite a bit bigger, so we can get a really nice, you know, again, thick to thin. Oh, and while I'm inking, I'm gonna go ahead and take my smoothing here and crank that up quite a bit, get some nice smooth lines. Not all the way to where I would need like a lazy mouse or anything like that, but just something to kind of help me out with my line smoothness. So again, thin to thick to thin here, and just put in an eyeball. Not too shabby. I have a feeling we'll just be drawing heads for our demos. So yeah, going through here, and again, just kind of using a little bit of a basic ink pen. And again, if I do want those really precision lines, as far as like where exactly my lines need to be placed, I have a feeling, because I'm okay on a tablet, but this feels a lot more precision. I'm not having to undo nearly as much as I would have to be if I was on a tablet. Again, tablet users out there, you may have a different, and how I'm not even a drawer, so it is, take it for what it's worth. But yeah, I'm able to much faster and easier hit any sort of precision areas that I need to, that on a tablet I would be undoing a lot. Again, just kind of, yeah, look at that, just little feather work really quick. So yeah, excellent. This feels really good. Let's go ahead and close out of Photoshop, and we'll hop in here. What else is here on the bottom? Go into ZBrush here. So this laptop is Windows 11. I haven't upgraded this to 2023 yet. This is 2022.0.7, but I think that'll be fine for a demo. So let's go in here and just grab a sphere, drag in our canvas, go into edit mode, make polymesh 3D, and we'll go ahead and hold down Control Shift. You can, of course, set these buttons to Control Shift, but I've been using keyboard with ZBrush for so long that there's no stopping me now. So I'm going to go through here. So use my custom menu. This isn't an intro to ZBrush, so I'm just going to use some custom stuff here. We'll say Dynamesh, go ahead and drop this in, and then we'll say Shift to Smooth, and we'll use our Move brush, and then our Control Shift brush here to just kind of do a really quick head sculpt. So with our standard brush here, again, right down the middle of the head is where the eyeballs are, and then up above, here's your brow line, very nice, and then nose line, chin line, and then right in the middle here, we'll go ahead and let's go into clay buildup. ZBrush fan favorite. We'll go in here to stroke modifiers. We'll crank this up just a bit. Roll distance of 5, let's say, very low intensity, and then you can start building up your volumes with this. Again, very nicely, feels very natural. And we are using Windows Ink. If you do need to go in here to Preferences, Tablet, there are some tablet driver APIs in here, WinTab Stylus, Windows Media Event. I will say, man, there's almost always some sort of compatibility problem. I don't know why still in this day and age of Windows Ink and tablet, go ahead and turn this online cursor servers off, tablet settings, and they're just not playing nice, and you got to go do like a little config file somewhere. Not with this thing. So far, I just turn on Windows Ink, all my programs work really nicely, and boy is that ever useful. So again, we're going to go ahead and build this up here, and then we'll go in here with our Damien standard brush, and let's put a mouth on here. So middle of the eye straight down as the corners of the mouth, and then we'll just put in a little mouth right here, and then we'll hold down Alt and kind of pull up to the surface here, and then we'll kind of push down, and then middle here, and then a little fold right here, and then maybe a little inflate brush. So we got a little mouth going, and then again, just kind of go through here and make sure you have decent draft of the face, or go in here and pull the lips back even more. Have fun with it. It's ZBrush, right? And it also feels, I mean, really good. I haven't noticed anything that's like throwing me off. Even I always thought I would be slower in here. It's not a giant tablet, which is great for the portability if I'm going to be taking this with my laptop everywhere. But I move around pretty fast. I don't feel like I'm hindered in any way from, you know, doing decent, fast ZBrush work, which is the kind of ZBrush work I prefer to do. So yeah, here we go. We got the ear in here between the brow and the nose, the non-existent nose in here. Actually, heck, we might even have, let's see, brush, chisel 3D, and we got noses. I'm just gonna steal one. Let's go in here and whoop, steal a nose real quick. Hey, perfect. We'll re-Dynamesh, smooth this out, go in here with a clay buildup brush. There we go. So now, yes, that is a got a weak chin, big nose, perfection. Let's go in here and hit the Damien standard, give him a little bit more of a nostril, and we're off to the races. How fun is that? So yeah, ZBrush feels really good. I will say the only thing I've noticed is, like, for the standard brush, you can see I can get a very, you know, thick to thin, very nice, easy stroke. However, if you remember, for the standard brush, lazy mouse by default is set to lazy radius of 1. So I am getting a very smooth stroke, albeit that lazy radius isn't very long, so it's not, you know, for example, if I crank this up, it's not leaving that rubber band behind it to get a very, very smooth stroke. However, if I go in here, we'll change lazy radius down to 1, and then we'll tap L on our keyboard to turn that off. You'll see if I want to go thick to thin, it does a pretty good job, but you'll end up with a little bit of pilling, you know. So again, if I'm going, again, I'm trying to be, I'm not saying my hand is the best, but, you know, trying to go, again, thick to thin and a fairly even stroke. It's not terrible. Sometimes it's a little bit better than others, but you can see there's kind of like a little hiccup in the line. Again, that actually might be my hand, it picking up pressure sensitivity that my hand is actually doing. But again, your mileage may vary. If you have a smoother ZBrush stroke, see, that's pretty good though. Yeah, it doesn't happen often, and what I'm betting it is my hand causing the little pilling. I will say though, rarely is that even an issue, even for me. Number one, I'm doing a pretty good job. Number two, usually when I have my lazy mouse off, that's when I'm going through here and, like, you know, tapping in details and surface details and stuff like that. So again, not a huge deal. Might be something I just need to get a feel for. But yeah, I think that's fine for ZBrush. Let's go ahead and close out of that. There we go. We'll go in here to File, Open Sample. We'll grab Meet Matte. All right, and you know, since this is a tablet thing and we're using this to draw, we're on a drawing layer. I'm going to go ahead and right-click in here, and I gotta say, just to bring this up again, for some reason, some Windows Ink and some tablets, they have like a problem with, like, even Substance Painter. I wasn't able to fix it with some of my tablets, to where I mean, this thing is super responsive. Right-click menu, drag down, doesn't hiccup at all. Let's go ahead and change this color to red so you can see it. And then again, just going thick to thin, and if you right-click and go to the top here, size is set to pressure sensitive. If you want to do opacity, you can, or flow, excuse me, you can set that there. And again, you can see, again, thin to thick, very nice. Let's go ahead and control and make this brush size a little smaller here. And if you hold down shift, that'll go line to line to line. And again, that precision, I can go boom right there in the corner. With a tablet, I may or may not be so precise, but I feel very, very precise with this pen. It's pretty right on, for me anyways. So again, let's go ahead and do that. Thin to thick to thin, works great. Feels good. Navigation is just fine. Control middle mouse here. Trying to remember how to navigate. There we go. So I don't know. Again, feels tremendous. And no fiddling with options. So pretty good. And we'll do Clip Studio. There we go. I got a couple pencils set up. Here's just like a regular old pencil. And again, one thing I forgot to change in ZBrush is, again, if I hit this bottom one here, I have it set to hard. In ZBrush, I normally would set it back to normal, but honestly, I didn't even notice, so maybe I'll keep it at hard. But going in here to hard so I can do sketching. Again, we'll do one of these kind of heads here, cut off the sides and put the little face in there. So again, hairline, brow line, nose line, chin line. We'll pop a nose off of here. So again, we're just kind of using that sketchy pencil here to kind of get this rocking and rolling. We'll put some eyebrows on here and some ear and neck. Yay. We'll switch over to mechanical pencil. Let me see, stabilization is set to 5, which is semi-stable. Let's go ahead and turn that off here. Cool. So again, thin to thick to thin. Feels pretty good. So thin, very, again, getting these lines as straight as I can, or going in here and doing our drawing test. Let's do our circles here. Yes, yes, yes. Feels pretty good. Again, stabilization is off. You know, and there may be some settings in here. Let's do one of these. There may be some settings in here that I need to go through and kind of mess with. I don't draw that much, but again, it feels pretty good. Let's go ahead and, again, we'll actually draw something here. So a little bit of an eye. And again, we're just using the old mechanical pencil here. And this one isn't as sketchy. The pencil itself, I should say. It's not that the stroke is doing anything in particular or odd that I can call out. But yeah, so then we got, I'll put some hair on here. But yeah, overall, feels great. The precision is awesome. Like, again, I think I'll be using this if I need to do any ink work or any very precise work. I'm definitely going to have to resort to a product like this. And also, like I said, you know, I'm using this on my Windows 11 laptop, and I can't not bring this with me anymore. It's not only is it a drawing tablet that I can use for whatever I want, it's also an extra monitor, which is totally awesome. I can't overstate that. So, but yeah, and let's see. We'll go in here to an ink pen and kind of feel these out. I mean, God, the brush engine in here is so good that what could I say about it? Feels great. Go in here and ink this in. And again, I'm certainly no expert, so you can watch other people do amazing drawings. I'll just do what I can. But yeah, this is, again, it feels really, really good. Again, that thick to thin here. Sorry, just playing with these brushes. Again, I didn't get to play with Clip Studio all that much during my day-to-day. Most of my work was done in ZBrush. But yeah, again, and you know, we could, you know, hop back in here and switch this to normal and see if that feels a little better depending on the type of brush you're using. Of course, that's something you'll have to feel for yourself. But so far, I gotta say, super impressed. This is my new travel companion. So we'll hop, and you know what, we'll do kind of a time lapse. We'll hop back into Photoshop and we'll do a time lapse head just to kind of play around a little bit more with the brushes.